I hear there's a lot of space for the Crystal City Amazon location, so we're going to actually go out there, take a look, see what all the hype's about. Welcome to the future site of Amazon HQ2. Check this one out. So it may be a bit presumptuous to think Amazon's coming here, but I want you to have the best information in the event they make the announcement that Crystal City is the new location, how that affects the housing market. Number one, just because Amazon decides to plant roots here in Arlington County does not necessarily mean that everything in Crystal City, Arlington, North, South, Fairfax, and points surrounding will immediately explode in value. Nothing in their plans suggests that these are going to happen overnight. There are 50,000 total jobs, assuming there aren't two different headquarters. There are 50,000 total jobs coming to the Northern Virginia area under this scenario, and it would happen over a 4, 5, 6 year period. Essentially, that means that people will come in here 5, 10,000 at a time, so that won't tweak the supply and demand to the degree that I think a lot of people are assuming it will. And think about it this way, not everyone will want to live in Crystal City. Some people want acreage and land and a sense of community that perhaps a Reston, Virginia offers, or Fairfax, somewhere out in Fairfax County, where others are just fine living in more of the urban jungle of Arlington County, so they'd be okay with the condo or smaller sized bungalow home. And then there are those people that want to live in DC. I mean, that's why they came here after all. So they want to go to DC proper in popular neighborhoods and all over the city. So the workforce, albeit will come here to work every day, the housing needs of those workforce will scatter all across the area, meaning we will not see a huge jump even if HQ2 is in your backyard. It won't make a difference, but it won't mean everyone's coming to Arlington. Be honest about it. So I'm going to get really close to the camera to say this point. Just because HQ2 may be coming to Virginia, and let's assume it does not mean your property's value will go up 20% in one day. Sellers, please, it does not work like that. Get it out of your mind now. That's going to make all of our lives a lot easier. So to put these 50,000 jobs into context, let's think of it this way. There are roughly 365,000 federal workers in our area alone. All told, there are over 900,000 people working in the capacity of serving the federal government. That includes contractors and all. So 50,000 new jobs coming to DC or the DC region is a huge boost. Do not misunderstand me. But it's not going to reinvent our job market. It's going to represent a fraction of the jobs that already exist. That simply means, in my estimation, that Amazon coming here will not explode the housing markets. It will simply bolster them and secure them, much like the federal workforce does already. Here's the best example I have. In the Great Recession of 2008, property values across the country went down some 40 and 50%. In our region, some places didn't really even lose their property value. Many did, but some didn't. Why? Because we have such an insulated workforce that there was always this extra, the balance of supply and demand was always in check. So Amazon coming here, I don't believe will increase your property's value 5, 10, 20%, not overnight at least. Really what I think its greatest impact will do is actually help secure your already heightened property value. We live in an expensive area, and I think this is one of the best hedges against your property going down that could happen. And listen, if that depresses some of you, let me just be clear. Having stability in a very unstable world, especially in the sector of housing where things can go sideways in a hurry, is such a beautiful thing. It's something that we should all really be happy about. So even if your property value doesn't go up, just having that stability, that security blanket for your house's value and equity will be an incredibly valuable thing to have moving to our area. But one of the best parts about Amazon coming to Northern Virginia, if it does, is actually not the salaries themselves, but the investment in our mass transit, technology, schools, infrastructure. All told, they're looking to spend in the billions for wherever they land to help bolster that area's infrastructure. So having an Amazon headquarters right here, just imagine the investment that will bring to the region overall, and how much better our infrastructure might end up being, especially Crystal City, but in the points surrounding. I think that's a huge under-discussed point that will be Amazon's greatest asset to Northern Virginia. So those are my thoughts about Amazon HQ2 coming to Crystal City. If I were to take a bet, I would say it does, but I say they do split it between us and New York. But who's to really say? If you have any ideas, if you have any comments, I'd love to hear about them. But I assure you of one last thing, there's not a seller that I've spoken to in the last year, or buyer for that matter, that hasn't asked me what I think about HQ2 and what that would do to the housing market. So to recap, I just think it's going to be an overall net positive. It won't explode our property's values. It will secure what's already so good about this area's housing market. And in addition, it's going to bring tons of new investment in infrastructure. Have any ideas? Let me know.